It's the Jack
and Cathy
Show.
Shit Show.
And there we go.
Yeah, how was that?
Okay,
Did you like
I
that
think
one?
if yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
You're really asking how I am? I spend every moment of the day with you. I pretty much poop with the door open, and we keep talking.
Yeah,
That's
that can change though if you want to. That's not something you
I
have
try
to
to
keep
get
doing.
you out.
Yeah.
I do. I shove that door
You're
closed.
Cute on the
But
shitter.
you're still there. You're like talking through the door.
You are adorable when you poop.
So I think it's hilarious that you go, "Hi, how are you?"
Well, we always say hi at the start of it.
Hi.
The how are you is what got you.
Yeah, I thought that was
So
funny.
how are you?
It's been a while.
It's been 15 minutes while you were upstairs showering for our meeting, and I was setting up.
And okay, so
talk to the peoples.
to
What do we got
anybody-
behind us?
I have to talk about my hair again for a second. So, for anybody, I know you're rolling your eyes.
No, I'd never.
For
I'd never roll
anybody
my
that
eyes.
watches,
I'm just laughing.
I just took a shower but didn't wash my hair, and I actually washed my hair 2 days ago. And I look at my haircut and I'm like, my girlfriend Lisa that cuts my hair is fucking brilliant. She's really, really good. And I don't think I've ever plugged her with all the stuff I play with my hair.
Do you think Lisa's intent was?
I washed it 2 days ago. It air dried. I've worked out every day, and I still think it looks pretty good.
Do you think Lisa's intent was? Is it called the non-shower haircut? You never have to take a shower
Lisa
again.
knows me. So she is her name is Lisa Yeastad,
Yeah.
Lesa, last name Ystad. She has her own salon, Yeastad Salon, which is in around the Bayview area, and she rocks. So thank you, girlfriend. Because my hair's cute.
Every episode.
I know. I'm always
about
looking
her
at my hair. I don't know why that is.
Jinx. You can't talk till I say your name.
Okay.
Good. This is now my
I
podcast.
just said okay.
You can't though.
All right. Well, this is a podcast. You really don't want me to talk?
You know, people would think that we have been drinking or other stuff, and it's truly 9 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning.
Is our cocktails still on the table
Nope.
from last night?
Nope.
No,
I put
You
those
cleared it
away so they wouldn't be in camera. I swear to God. I went, oh, that's in view. So I ran them upstairs.
All right. So first thing I want to share is for anybody that has watched and seen the various locations in which we have set up the podcast, we are currently in our family room in the basement, which... yeah, feels so damn good to be down here. We sanded the walls. We restained and polyurethane the walls because it's this cool paneling. And then we painted the
gorgeous,
white,
by
the
the way.
trim white.
You kicked ass.
We had the ceiling opened up and painted white. We're still waiting on a few things like hand lighting,
Electricity.
but and then yesterday we got it carpeted, and so we moved some furniture down here and watched the latest episode of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And your rubber ball is squeaking, my dear.
Sorry.
Yeah, that sounds like
It's not my
you're
rubber ball.
sounds like you're farting.
can do that
But
on
we're
command.
super excited.
Yeah. So, well, what did we do while we were watching Yellowstone yesterday?
Ate dinner.
Well,
Had ice cream.
phenomenal salmon dinner. So thank you for that. That was awesome.
And you know what? That salmon dinner was courtesy of Trader Joe's. Oh, is that our furnace
That's our
making
furnace, yeah.
funny noises? Courtesy of Trader Joe's. All we have is a microwave and an air fryer.
Yeah.
So
Ninja.
we
We're
coated
doing massive public
we coated
promotions
we
right now.
coated the salmon in soy sauce and sesame oil and a little hoisin sauce.
Hoisin sauce.
Hoisin.
Yep.
And we put it in the air
Delicious.
fryer, and then we had a little rice stir fry thing from Trader Joe's that we
So
nuked, and
good.
it actually was pretty tasty.
Oh, it was awesome. Then we watched Yellowstone, and then while we were watching, had
A bourbon,
from Bullet Bourbon.
Bullet bourbon,
Mhm.
one of your favorites. You introduced me to that.
Well, and your
Love a
your
little
brother
bourbon.
introduced me to that at his place.
Oh.
Because I know Bullet makes rye, and rye is just different than bourbon. And so when your brother pulled out Bullet, I want to say it was Thanksgiving last year.
Oh.
He pulled out the bullet because I saw the labels look identical. The bottles do.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, I don't want the rye. And he's like, no, I think he said it was bourbon. I had never heard of that. Stupid me.
Very
But it was
cool.
delicious. So we had
thanks
that,
to my bro.
and then ran out and got some ice cream. But we now have a place.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video behind,
my
it's
boyfriend went and got me ice cream. I was so happy.
he did because he loves you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have a partially finished basement. What people can't see is that we still have to box a few poles that are down here, and
Yeah,
we've got some.
We took out the bar that was down here, and that's the area we're in right now.
Yeah,
it's the old bar.
and this is going to be our studio from now on, though. We're going to do our recording down here.
It's gonna be a permanent.
Yeah, so we made a little spot for us for our studio, which is cool. We framed in some holes and stuff like that, and so sheetrock is coming. We hope this weekend. And so I'm psyched. I woke up this morning.
Sorry, you're going to, I just glanced over here where you did the framing. You have to take a picture of that and post it because that's hilarious. And the caption has to be, what's wrong with this picture?
I'll do it right now. You know we can still get it out, but I'll send it to Key, and Key, if you could, just have this like in the corner of the podcast. So the workers, we had electricians out to help us with stuff, and because we put a new service in, went from 60 amp to 200, and they left a lot of their tools here underneath the stairs.
Yeah,
so
a big black Rubbermaid tub, boxes,
wires, clips,
of supplies,
because they still have some work to do.
Rolls of wire, and it was tucked under the stairs, and
I framed the stairs.
Jack framed it out because it's going to get drywalled, but he neglected to
Take
remove
the
items out, so they're actually look like they're in jail. They're in a cage. So
I got to figure out a way to get all of that out now.
How to get that out
between the studs.
That's hilarious.
It wasn't very smart. But,
hey, you know what? Your framing is perfection.
But the framing's great.
Yeah.
I do. We have to laugh though when we do these kinds of doofusy. Well, when I do these doofusy things.
Oh, I do plenty of doofusy things. Please.
But this morning I woke up at 4:30, and I did because I was so excited about sitting in the basement. So because I fell asleep during Yellowstone last night.
Yeah.
So I was tired. And rarely do we not go to bed together, right?
I know.
And I just went, baby, I can't keep my eyes. I want to go to bed. You stayed down here and finished it.
Yeah.
I obviously went to sleep, and then at 4:30 I woke up and I went, I want to finish Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So I was so excited to sit on the couch, and so I'm happy.
Yeah.
This has been a lot between us, babe.
Yeah, babe.
So anyway, the topic of today's conversation.
Yeah, the topic of today, I had proposed to Jack that I wanted to do a 1 year, 3 year, whatever the years are, 5 year, 10 year, whatever. I'd like us to talk about our personal goals, our professional goals, and our relationship goals in the short, medium, and long term. Mm-hmm. And what did you say?
Well, first of all, I said I don't think I'll be alive in 10 years. So that was a little aggressive to me to try to plan something.
You think?
Where I'm not going to be around. I'm thinking 3-week goals.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get through this week.
You want to stick with daily goals?
I just want to get this next hour. I was against a 10-year plan only because 10 years seems like so far and we don't know what could happen. So I don't want to. I think there's bigger aspirations, certainly, which I think is really what you're getting at. It's not the time per se. It's what's a long-term vision, medium vision, and near vision of what we'd like to try to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that it? And so it's harder for me to see that far. However, let me give you an example. There's a blog that I wrote years ago about seeing your future self, right? And it was based upon something I read about Kobe Bryant, and it's not anything shadowing at the buoy.
Shadowing at the buoy.
I was shadowed at the buoy. So it's where Kobe was talking about how 1 extra hour in a gym, and Jeter was talking about 5 extra hits in the cage. And it applies to anything. I don't care what it is. One more client email that you send out, or that time you spend a little bit more time painting a room, for example. The point was, an hour doesn't seem like that much over its minute focus of that moment. But an hour a day times 5 is 5 hours extra, and times a week is now 35 more hours, right? 7 times 5 or 7 hours times 4 weeks. Now you're at 28 more hours.
Yeah.
Imagine that person you're competing against, right? That you've now put in 100 more hours in them in just 3 months. And so I recognize the need then, because he talked about if you see your future self as having this kind of success, it's putting in the time now to get to that point, which I think is kind of what you're getting at when it comes to goals and where do we want to be. So if there's certain things that we think we want, we certainly have to move now toward those to get there if they're longer aspirations, right? Or bigger aspirations.
Yeah,
Is that what you're getting at?
I think my idea or why it came to my mind is because I think it's a healthy exercise to set goals for yourself. But as a couple, I've never set goals with another person. So I very much want this life with you. And I think it could be really healthy conversation to make sure we're on the same page or figure out how to satisfy both persons' goals, you know?
Yeah. Well, we talked when we were prepping for this about goals for you, goals for me. Like you even said it minutes ago.
Yeah. Personal goals,
for us.
professional goals, and relationship goals.
And then being
together.
supportive of that, right? Your personal goals may not align with me for certain things, and yet we have to be supportive of that.
Right.
Okay, so I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I think I may see it a little bit differently or have a harder time visualizing 10 years or a number, but I see bigger things in a horizon of where I'd like to be with you.
Right.
So we thought it would be cool for this podcast to actually go through this exercise live. So we have not prepped for this at all. I haven't thought about did you do it? I didn't.
No, I didn't. Okay. No, it's rather spontaneous actually.
Yeah, so we figured we'd expose you guys over the next 15 minutes to how we kind of process stuff together.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
And what's hilarious is right before we hit record,
oh God, it's so
I
funny.
said to Jack, tee up, could you turn off your ringer, my love, muffin?
Yeah.
I said to Jack, pull up the Gottman's app and get a question ready. And
for the end of the podcast, we like to answer a question. Yeah.
Coinky dink.
The question was, what do you want your life to be in, say, 3 years from now?
I know.
That was the first question that popped up. The relationship
hit record.
Question.
Start recording. Now. Go.
Do it.
All right. So, all right. I'll start first with...
how about just near term, 12 months
near
from now?
Term.
So next Thanksgiving, where do you want to be?
So like a year from now.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
this is going to be recorded for all time.
I know, right? And then we can go back and listen to it and see how freaking close we got to some of our goals.
Yep.
But it's really, I'm actually really happy with the path that we're on, where a year from now we will have sold this house or be preparing to sell it, you know, if we had to keep it 2 years for tax reasons. Yeah. So we've completed this house. We have built up our real estate business, and it's thriving because it can take a good year to build momentum. 3, I want to continue exercising because that feels so good.
Can I ask you to stop for a second, because you're totally awesome right now listing off everything?
Yeah.
Is there a personal or us goal to separate the two of those, or is they're falling into personal?
Maybe they all fall together. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure. You can be the judge of that. Okay. I think the way I think of us, all of these things I just listed, they're all together, you know? So I have no life left by myself.
Well,
you've taken over every aspect of my psyche.
I'm sorry for breaking your momentum. I didn't mean that. I was listening going, is that an us or is that a you goal? And so I wasn't quite sure. Or is it just you're just throwing stuff out? Oh, John's calling. Okay, keep going.
So, and then this is all together stuff. So I want us to have an Airstream and have a couple of trips under our belt. I want to see more music. I want to hike more and mountain bike more, and I want to see my babies. I want to see my kids as much as possible. I want to read books again.
Okay. Dang, you got a list right now.
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
No, it's great
all
stuff.
like, I don't know. Is that, I just see, so that's kind of just short term.
Well, you had mentioned goals also. I can't remember if it was just now in the podcast or when we talked in prep for this. Spiritual goals, like, things that you want, financial goals, career goals, relationship goals, stuff like that, health goals. How do you fill those categories at all? Do you want to go through that? By the way, this doesn't have to be, so everyone who's listening, they think 15 people now, which is awesome. I don't want this to be a solve podcast per se, right? We're brainstorming right now. We're throwing things out there. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so keep going. Do you know what I mean? Like, but those buckets, you had mentioned those buckets of spiritual goals. And
well, the financial goals are, I'll just speak for myself, but it's true for both of us. The outpouring of money that we're doing right now to get this house ready. Mm-hmm. And financially, I want us to have the proceeds of all of our efforts and doing a great job on this house and having this product at the end of the day that makes us some money. That's very important. And then also the idea that, a year from now, and Nada Homes and the real estate stuff and whatever is encompassed in that has really built some momentum and created an income that is strong, basically. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to think right now as like living in lack or anything right now, but instead I want to look at it as we are building momentum and we are working towards those goals. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the financial element that we talked about. Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
Spiritually, I would say that, I think that's part of what I want to get back to reading. Why I want to get back to reading is to stay connected spiritually. I think that some of the books that I have, stacked up are in that vein. Mm-hmm. And the one I just bought in Santa Fe is about breath work. Yeah, and I'm like a page and a half in and I fall asleep before I get to it. But doing that breath work, guess it's working. Doing that breath work, it to me is about connecting with the inner self.
So when you read it,
that
did
to
you
me
just get to the part of the inhale
spiritual
part and then you're out?
Yeah. Deep inhale.
It's being more connected to yourself. Well, you also talked about wanting to try some other spiritual things too.
Yeah. Maybe some retreats that have to do with some, I don't know, some mind-altering stuff. I've been reaching that. Yeah. Some mushroom psilocybin experience could be on the radar, but more to come on that.
Yep.
But I'd say that's sort of the spiritual stuff, and staying connected to that is about me having that internal peace and working constantly to lead with love as I walk through this world. And, sometimes that's very challenging because we have challenging relationships or we have challenging stuff in work. Yeah. And it's very easy to say, I want to lead with love, but then sometimes very hard to do because we're like, Wah! And so focusing and taking that time to read and breathe and whatever other experiences are all part of focusing on the self and the inner voices and the peace. And to me, that's spiritual.
Yeah, I get it.
And being in nature. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Talk about feeling the spirit.
Yeah.
Those rides through the forest, mountain bike riding, fucking magical, right?
Well, that, for me is, that's everything.
Yeah. Brings tears to my eyes.
Oh, you are welling up.
I know.
Oh, let's stop that. Honey
No.
bunches.
Okay, now you talk.
No, I like listening to this. What else? So we had.
change, you.
Yeah, for change, I'm going to talk.
For change,
Duh.
yeah.
So we went through spiritual. We went through some financial stuff, which is the business and all those other things.
Yeah.
So these are broad stroke sweeps of categories of things.
Yes.
What if I were to ask you, narrow it down and give me a detail. Give me a number you want to hit or something in the next 12 months.
So really specific?
Yeah, because I found, like, for example, when I lost all that weight, it wasn't for me to lose a certain pound number, right?
Yeah.
I lost 33 pounds 9 years ago and really haven't looked back. So it wasn't about a number, though. It was about completing a program, letter to the law, right? Exactly the diet, exactly the exercise routine. And then I went from a 36 to a 32 pant, right?
Yeah.
But my point was, I specifically said the next 90 days, I'm sticking with this and I'm not moving from it.
I hear you, and
So-
I think you're right. I think it's important to not just have these general goals, because it's like, I'm going to, I don't know, work
I'm going to
out
feel
today.
better this year.
Yeah. I think you're right that it's very, very specific, because what you focus on grows, right? So if and it could be good or bad, but in this case, I just want to talk about the good goals, or the good thoughts. And I think you're right. I think I would like to take this conversation, which is very general, and I
narrow
think
it
I
down.
would like to put pen to paper
Yeah.
and be very specific with it, and like tack it on the fucking wall.
Well,
I
I love your category. I love the fact. It's funny because when you first approached me with this, I had admittedly kind of what are we doing? We've got so much shit going on. I can't even see next month because I don't know when We Energies is coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm very blindered on focus on this house. Like, it's almost, we even had the talk this morning, right, about, am I getting too obsessed about the money? Do we have enough the money for this, that, and the other, right? And you kept saying, we're going to be fine.
We got this.
So when you first brought this up, just 3 years was eons away for me. And then I remember that when I started setting personal goals for myself by writing them down and having, like the secret says in the movie, that vision board.
Yeah.
If I really want this, and whatever this is, it could be charitable contribution. It doesn't have to be a possession of a thing. That's not what we're getting at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to know that I really appreciate the fact that you're pushing us to explore this.
Yeah.
And that this is not the first episode on this topic, that we'll dive into some more details.
Yeah, I think it could be good to take this conversation and get super specific and actually do the exercise separately. And then come
that'd be
together,
a great idea.
Then come together and see what is in alignment.
Oh, I'd like that.
Yeah. So tell me, just give me your overview.
Just to make you happy.
Okay, that's good. Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks for the podcast. This has been a broadcast.
But you say that in jest, but that would not make me happy. If your sole purpose was just to make me happy, and you sacrificed
What if
yourself.
my sole purpose was to make you happy and happier after that?
Well,
okay, so I'll give you mine because I was being a
because
jackass.
I
got it.
I love and respect you so very much, and it's important to be with a partner that has their own personal goals.
So, and I know I've said almost these words and I don't say them well often, and I'm going to apologize for that. One of my primary goals in the next 12 months is, it already, is to sell the house, right? I want the proceeds from this, and related to that, I'd like to get a duplex with you.
Yes.
So that is a personal thing that involves Anata Homes, our real estate company. Mm-hmm. I'd like to get a duplex or another property. And it's funny, as much as this has been a nightmare in some regards, it's been really rewarding because we're learning to work so well together. I think we're getting better at it.
Yeah, if this shit doesn't break us, we should be pretty good.
Right,
from
and no
here
one
on
will
out.
know this, but like 72% of the time, you're pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
72?
On the
I don't
20
know.
and the
I think
20% that
yesterday
you're
I
not,
was
we can.
98%
You were
yesterday, and
only
you were
for 12% of the time, though.
For those that don't know, this is a joke.
But this is how it got us out of
exchange.
This is how it got us out of a little bit of an argument that was about to brew. Right? We started talking about percentages, and next thing you know, we did exactly this, and we were laughing.
You were 20% an asshole on that one, okay?
Yeah, but 90% of the time, you're 200%.
But you were 20% an asshole.
So I would like to sell this house, not until Alex's wedding, because I don't want to go through all that, and that's so not till July.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to have our sights set on the next property.
Agreed.
And ideally, I would like to live in your condo so that we can come home to something that's a little bit more peaceful than living in what we've lived in.
Yes.
So that would be a goal of mine in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Second thing, I want to see as many of Sam's baseball games as possible.
Yes.
Because this is his last year potentially playing, so it's important for me to see that.
This is our cabinet delivery person.
Oh, well, we'll get that in a second. So that's important for me, is to really see him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a couple of visits out to Seattle, 2 at least, to see Key.
Sure.
And 1, I love you to death. 1 by myself. I want to spend just time with her. And then I want to convince her and DJ to come out and spend time with us.
Oh my gosh.
So those are very personal goals for me, none of which really involve like my health or anything like that. I'm certainly wanting the Airstream with you, and if we can make that work, awesome. It's not as critical, believe it or not. I really want it.
Yeah.
I just want it to. The numbers have to work, right? For me, it's a numbers thing, and we've got to make sure that has a little more. Maybe less emotional thing for me, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
And then, believe it or not, you said reading. I want to get back to reading because I have all these books, so I'd like to do a book a month.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's overly aggressive, and I haven't done that in ages, mostly because of this house. So, and the 4th thing I want, or 5th, whatever number it is, my friend Pat, our friend Pat, I shouldn't say mine, has talked about wanting to go away to bike ride.
Yes.
And I'm going to push him on that because I know we keep talking about it, him and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to go on a long mountain bike 4-day weekend someplace with him. He talked about the Ozarks. He talked about Arkansas. Indiana's got some great trails. So I'm hoping that's a thing for him that I can work on with him. But that's the personal stuff for me.
Let's not say I'm hoping.
That's a good point. You're right. I'm planning. Yeah, I'm going to make it happen. You're right.
Planning a trip. And I completely encourage you to go on a trip by yourself. I've had a few lately. And, Jack Honar, you moved from Illinois into my world. And in my world, I have my established friends. I've got some family here. You don't have that.
Yeah.
So I really recognize that. And I encourage you to make sure you carve that time, even if it costs money and you don't feel like you should.
Yeah.
You know?
And the reason I say hope is I know your point. I have to find a way to convince him. That's the challenge, right? How do I get Pat to say, yeah, let's do this? So I think I know how to do that, even if he's listening, which he's not.
No, he's not.
There's no way in hell he's listening to this podcast. And he doesn't even like listening to us when we're together.
Right.
So I think if I can get him, I'm going to get him to go on a trip. How's that?
Yes.
That would be fun for me.
Yes.
Okay, so those
You're
are
going to plan a trip with Pat.
So those are personal things for me. Maintaining fitness is going to be up there, and we're doing that. So I'm not worried about will I maintain fitness. I think that's something that's now ingrained in both of us, right? So on a financial note, I really want Anata Homes to take off, and we had at coffee this morning or whatever we call it. Where's the place we went to?
Valentine Coffee.
I don't know. I can't remember. Valentine Coffee was great after working out with Alex and the group at Spire. You came up with some really cool ideas, and it got me fired up for Anata Homes.
I know.
So I don't know. That's where we have to do some work on our own to figure out what a goal would look like for Anata. How many sales, for example, we want or whatever.
Yep.
I haven't thought through those details yet. I will say that Anata Homes, there's 2 real financial priorities for me, and you're going to know what they are. It's this podcast.
Yes.
And I want us to find a way to monetize this in some way. And I don't think that's wrong to say that.
No, of course not.
And I want Anata Homes I want these things to be our primary source of income for us.
Yeah.
Because I do love spending so much time with you, and I love these projects together. So I don't know. I think I still have to figure out what does that look like. How do you build numbers off of that? Like, how many followers? I haven't
no
thought
clue.
through those details yet.
I don't even know how to post this stuff.
But does that make sense what I'm getting at? Like,
Absolutely.
I know we need a round 2 of our goals. It really nailed down the details of let's target X, right?
Yeah.
Or let's get 5 million sales. I don't know. I'm making shit up.
Right.
Because I haven't thought it through. But beyond that, then with you, there's on a personal note, I want at least 4 concerts next year with you. And I know that's going to be a piece of cake.
We got one on the books already.
We got tickets for Pink.
We dropped some change to go see Pink.
We're basically 4th row to see Pink in Milwaukee.
Oh my gosh, she's the best.
So I want to go see concerts with you.
Yep.
And I know it's a piece of cake with Summerfest being in our backyard, so we're going to do that. If my son Sam is listening, Zach Bryan's going to be playing there. So it would be great if Sam came up for the
July
weekend.
July 7th.
We've got Pink, and I really would like to go to 2 more shows with you.
Okay.
So once a quarter, I want to go see a concert. So that's
I love it.
You and I love that. And if we could go to Red Rocks or Santa Barbara Bowl again, that would be a blast.
Oh my gosh, so fun.
I would love to go to Santa Barbara Bowl or Red Rocks again. Every year I'd like to do that.
Gosh, it'd be fun to drive with our
could you imagine Airstreaming and just parking out there in Colorado?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I know. Exciting stuff.
Babe, okay, so we're at 30 minutes, and we've been trying to make a commitment to stick to it. We've got a business meeting in 15 and I'm not even showered. So we're going to roll, right?
Yes, we're going to roll.
Thank everybody for listening. You can go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was it.
No,
I was going to say thank you.
I was going to say thank you too. And if you're listening and there's anywhere that you can
spread the word. Yeah.
Hit
Please
like,
tell people to follow
subscribe,
us.
follow. It all helps.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
People.
Peace. Jack and Cathy Shit Show outro take 652.
You just listened to another episode of the Jack and Cathy Shit Show.
Our senior producers are me.
Hey, and me.
This episode was produced, engineered, and mixed by
the amazing Key Honar.
Email your questions, comments, or interesting relationship stories to jackandcathyshitshow@gmail.com. That is Cathy with a C.
Be sure to follow and like our marvelous shit show on Instagram and TikTok at Jack and Cathy Shit Show. Apparently liking and following is a thing.
It is?
Yeah.
This episode was produced by Pint Productions 2022.